Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I am Joyo19 and thank you all for being so patient with this one. I've been very busy this weekend, but I'm hoping to get to semi-daily uploads again throughout this week and through the next weeks until we launch a good schedule. With that in mind, today we're going to be doing a quick video, a candidate spotlight video on Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy is a candidate for the Republican nomination in 2024. He was one of the first candidates to arrive. He announced it back, I think his campaign back in February or March. He was the CEO and co-founder of a Strive asset management company based in Ohio, and recently he has been doing very well in the polling, and I figured that it is time for me to give a in-depth outline of Mr. Ramaswamy and whether I think he would be capable of... So Vivek entered the race in March, and at around his first polling he was getting around about 1 to 2%. Against Donald Trump's 50% and Nikki Haley's 5%, or around that margin. But now he has currently stationed at 6.9% in comparison to other candidates who are losing ground, and with that, Vivek is the current third best candidate in regards to his polling position in the race. He is above Mike Pence, he is above Nikki Haley, and he is gaining rapidly on Ron DeSantis, so it's important to understand how this guy got to where he is. Now, his political positions would describe that of a moderate Republican in comparison to some of his other candidates. He has several more moderate conservative viewpoints, such as he believes in climate change but still wants to focus on maintaining the energy industry and promoting jobs without risking that market. He's also said that he opposes a federal abortion ban, putting him in the same camp as Trump. In regards to his position on Trump, he has said that he supported him, but hasn't really been making that a primary component of his campaign. By far, the biggest part of Mr. Ramaswamy's campaign has been education reform, and particularly civil rights reform, particularly on voting age and adoption into national service. He favours raising the voting age to 25 in almost all circumstances, which would be pretty unprecedented compared to other candidates, though it has gained some traction in recent years. However, he has said that there should be exceptions for people within the national service, and he wants to impose a civics test if people want to be able to vote before then, at the age of 18 to 24. Now, in regards to his position on American exceptionalism and as well as their military position, and he has said he's been very controversial in regards to what he's said about Ukraine. Ukraine, he said, should be able to punch its own bully in the nose. He said that in a Fox interview, and that he also said that Ukraine, if it wishes to prevent a third world war, it should give concessions to Russia and prevent Russia joining a military alliance with China to defeat Ukraine. But one of the things that Ramaswamy has made most appealing to independent voters about his campaign is his youth. He's currently, if we look back here, he's 37 years of age. He'll be 38 this year, 39 next year. Now, it's interesting to note that he would be, if he is nominated, I think the youngest ever candidate nominated for a major party, maybe with the exception of William Jennings Bryan. But his youth is in stark contrast to both Biden and Trump's age, and through that he has been able to create a sense of articulation and intelligence, which he has promoted in interviews with Tucker Carlson and at different forums. He also, on a different note, knows how to play the piano. What I would like to do now is I would like to go over to the national polling in the Republican nomination, and I'm here at 5:38, which I believe is run by ABC. This is a new program that I'm trying out, and I think it's fairly unbiased, which is always what we want to prioritize. And we can see here an overview of, I think, the past year, so all the way from 2023, or the beginning of 2023, sorry, I should say, the differences between Ron DeSantis, Trump, and all the other candidates down here. Now, unfortunately, it does sort of group together all the minor candidates, but we can see down here their specific numbers. It makes it much easier to outline exactly where they are. Now, as we can see, DeSantis' support has been dropping over the past few months. It gained a little bit of traction back in May when he first announced, but then it collapsed around about right here, July 10th. This is about 2 weeks ago. In fact, it is exactly 2 weeks ago. Now, you can also see that as a result of this, Trump also dropped. So it's not an improvement of Trump's popularity. He sits at around 50% of the Republican Party. But instead, it is the approval of popularity for candidates like Vivek Ramaswamy, even Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott. These people, these minor, sort of moderate candidates, are gaining much more traction with independent voters. And they've been praising their own electability in comparison to DeSantis and Trump. Now, look at what's happening here. We can see that that DeSantis' last 2 months or so has been marred by what's called like a frowny face. It goes up and then it's going down, and I think my opinion is that it's going to keep going down until someone like Mike Pence or Ramaswamy overtakes him in the primary. Now, currently, which is interesting to see, if we go to the current day, July 23rd, Ramaswamy 6.8, Pence 6.6, DeSantis 19.5. If you took all of the opposing candidates, which I've said in the past, the only way that Trump loses the primary is if he has one opposing candidate in the primaries. It would be any candidate 49.2% versus Trump. And then I think there's a little bit of elasticity there in regards to Trump's support. It could become 50-50. Now, is Ramaswamy going to be that candidate? If all the other candidates drop out in regard just before Super Tuesday, even DeSantis, if he's that low, and even Pence, could Ramaswamy be that guy? Well, it's possible. He is certainly very appealing to the Republican base. He's appealing to independent voters. Now, his position on Ukraine is more controversial, but still, could he pursue it? I'd say it's very possible that Ramaswamy could take the nomination if it came down to him and Trump. But it's time will tell, is what I will say in regards to that. The other final thing I want to mention is Ramaswamy's position as a potential vice presidential candidate. This is not something that I would rule out, but instead I would say that someone like Tim Scott or Nikki Haley would be the likely vice presidential candidate for Trump. But what I would see is likely is Ramaswamy having a position in a second Trump administration. You remember that Ben Carson made a deal to support Trump in the 2016 primaries in return for him being, I think, Secretary of Housing and Development. I may get that wrong, but I would think that Ramaswamy could also get a position in a second Trump administration as part of a deal to support Trump in that final process. And with that, that's the candidate spotlight on Vivek Ramaswamy. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.